We'll be right back.
All right, guys, welcome to today's Thursday Hangout. It is May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo, I guess, for those of you who are celebrating that. Glad you guys are all here, excited for today's call. As we mentioned, we have the honor and the privilege to have a special guest with us today. Couple of quick just reminders and announcements, things that you should be aware of to help your business grow in May. You know, we always talk about leveraging the sales and the things that Beachbody has going on and how important that is for your business. And so this month, you know, we have Max 30 and the Size Challenge Packs both on sale. You know, great option for people who love cardio, don't want a lot of weights. Size is obviously a fun, dancey workout. Max 30 is probably more for your more intense worker outer. It's not fun. Yeah, it's not a fun one. No, if you really like working out, I guess it's fun. Yeah. Justin and I actually went through the test group of that, and yeah, it was crazy. But so those two are on sale. Just make sure you're aware of those. For any other big announcements, make sure you're checking your back office, your Coach Breaking News section for any recent, and you should be checking that every single day. There's usually something back there that they're updating, whether it's for Summit or the Punta Cana wait list, whatever it might be. Make sure you're checking that back section there. Let's get into, I don't want to take up too much time of Kiana's. We have the honor of having a special guest here, Kiana Hanna, who is, she's a 6-star diamond coach. She's a Success Club legend, Success Club 10 legend, which if you're a newer coach, that means that she's hit Success Club 10 for 24 consecutive months. And if you go back and listen to the archives of our team hangouts, one of the constant themes of successful coaches is consistency. Showing up every single day for your business, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, right? When you don't feel like it, you still show up and do it because that's what you have to do to be successful with this business. If you want to help people, if you want to change lives, if you want to grow your business, you have to show up. So Success Club legend, she's a mom, she has 3 kids, and she's going to share a little bit of her story and also her 10 tips for being a successful coach. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Kiana.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much for having me on the call. I really appreciate it. I totally feel like it's an honor to be on any type of calls, and so that will be one of my points, which is when someone asks you to step out of your comfort zone or to do a call, you say hell yes, because you want to grow as a person and a coach. So thank you so much for taking your time to be on the call today. I know that we're all busy people, but the people that show up are the people that are consistently leaving clues in their business, which are the ones that really are the go-getters and treating their business like a business. So this business is it's not necessarily easy peasy, but it's simple. The rules are simple. And I'm going to give you 10 tips. I'm going to give you a lot of information. So here's what I want you to do. And I'll share my story really quickly, but I just want you, try not to write every single tiny thing down, just key points, because I'm going to give you a lot of information because I want to give you the most power-packed with my time with you. But your goal today is to figure out what 3 tips you want to implement out of these 10 and really run with them, because shame on you if you find something new and you get really excited about it and then you close your notebook and you go back to what you were doing before. Because if you're struggling or if you're at a place in your life where you might not necessarily be where you want, or you want to grow or be successful, you successfully have clues and you really want to not only take what you learn but apply it. That's the missing point that a lot of people do. They miss the application of it. It's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do these trainings, and then I never talk to people, or I'm gonna do this, and then you know what I mean. Okay, so like she said, I'm a mom of 3. I used to be a high school teacher. I was a high school health teacher, and I was a track coach. I really did love what I do, okay? I loved what I do, but to make a long story short, it took us a really long time to have my children. So by the time I had my first child, it was not without severe loss and miscarriages and IVF treatments, and it was almost 4 years before I gave birth. And so after I was at home and I was at this 12-week at 12 weeks, I decided if I was going to go back. I looked at my baby and I said, I can't go back. Are you kidding me? It took me this long to get here. At that particular time, I was struggling with postpartum depression. All these hormones were getting shot into my body. I felt like I should be excited because I finally have this baby with me, but at the same time, I was still struggling, but I knew that that's where I wanted to be. So I left the highest paid teaching position in Oregon. I was at one of the best schools in the district, and I had the opportunity to be a head track coach, and I walked away because I wanted to be at home with my kids. So I did that, and that year was a year of growth. Let's just put it that way. I was not a Beachbody coach yet. And I found that although I loved being at home, a year or two into it, it was the hardest job that I did, but I felt like a part of my teaching was missing. The value that I was offering to people was missing, and I really loved teaching people stuff. Whenever my kids left the classroom, I always said, you guys have an awesome weekend and make good choices. And then when they come back the next day, we'd ask, did you guys make good choices? It's all about helping people make good choices. And for me, I missed that relationship building. I still talk to my students. In fact, tomorrow I'm going over to a student that has a kid that now we are talking, and she does these workouts, and it's an amazing thing. So it wasn't that I wanted to do Beachbody to get out of my job. It was that my story is very different. It was that I started Beachbody because a friend reached out to me, knew I was used to be into fitness. I hadn't been working out for a while, and she said I should try Insanity. I think she messed up when she told me to try that workout program. But anyhow, I did it. I cried. I fought. I screamed every day. At the end of each day, I was like, oh my gosh. And I finished the 60 days. I lost 10 pounds and 10 inches. I felt better than I'd ever have in my life. And I was just already posting about it. And as the story goes, you should be a coach. And I said, well, I'm never going to try that shake. So don't you dare try to make me take that Shakeology. But I will become a coach so I can try to make a little bit of extra money for groceries and maybe inspire a few people. And that's how my story begins. I struggled for, I know that sounds silly. I made Success Club, but I didn't know how I was making it. I just would talk to people because I feel like that's a part of my story that's easy. I can talk to people. I'm passionate about certain things, so I can talk to people. I said, hey, you should join me. I was selling challenge packs, and I wasn't even on Shakeology. And I know that sounds like, oh, that's a fraud, but I was honest with them. I was like, hey, I just told them what I knew. The Shakeology stuff is awesome. I haven't tried it yet. I'm gonna try it. I just haven't tried it yet, but you should try it and be my success story. And they're like, okay. And that's really how it went. And that's kind of how I started my story. It wasn't until, I have to look at the exact date, but I don't think I started drinking Shakeology regularly until after a year of coaching. That is sad, but I'm just telling you the truth, okay? That's what happens. And then I became an all-in coach. Part of my story is that I really was struggling. Took me 8 months to be a diamond, and okay, that's fine, but I sat at diamond for 18 months. I could not build business leaders. I would drop coaches. I could sign a discount coach like there's no tomorrow, but I could not create leaders on my team. And I felt like I was failing. In this business, there's two parts. You're successful and you help your coaches be successful. And if you struggle at one or the other, and so I was in this mindset trap. I was comparing, I was having issues, and I realized maybe in November of going into the 2014 year, so November of 2013, I reached out to some of my leaders on my team and I said, listen, I'm a diamond, but I know we can be a 5-star diamond team. I reached out to 5 coaches. I said, this is what I want. I'm going to go all in. And if I can do it when I'm pregnant and going to have a baby, we can do this together. And that's what we did. And we really just worked on, but I focused on personal development. So personal development has completely and totally changed my entire life. So know that when I say that, I am dead serious. I was incredibly hard on myself. I was incredibly anxious. I always compared myself to other people. I always was the person that was like, I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. And once I decided to put my head down and get to work and focus on these 10 things, I started to become a successful coach. So here we go. Number 1, I talk really fast. I'm sorry. I'm a teacher. I have to get a lot in. Okay. It is follow less than a number of coaches on your hands, meaning this. If you're following 50 coaches and trying to keep up with the Kardashians, you are going to be so overwhelmed and anxious that you're not going to do anything successful. You have got to follow 5 coaches that motivate the hell out of you. That honestly, when you go to their page, you are getting content to create more content for your page. You're not copying, but you're motivating. So I have 5 coaches. I have probably a list of 15 coaches that I rotate that I follow. But when I'm down, like when I'm thinking, I don't know what to post, that doesn't happen often, but if it does, I have a list. And I have a list on my phone, if I had my phone, on my notes section of my phone, of ideas of what to do when I'm trying to figure it out, okay? You have got to create a list, a master list of ideas of what to post about that relates to your story. You put your blinders on because Facebook can trap you. It can trap you. I always tell my team they have got to be intentional with their time. I am a mother, I am busy, so you have got to follow less than 5 coaches, okay? Or 5 to 10 coaches, I would say. That's number 1. Number 2, I know this sounds silly, but you have got to attend live events. And you're like, oh yeah, you're probably gonna roll your eyes at me at some of this stuff, but when I start to get into the nitty and the gritty, that's my dog playing the piano, by the way. Sorry, he's standing on the keys. Unbelievable. Vader, no! Oh my gosh, can't block real life. Okay, sorry. So you got to attend live events. Obviously, Summit is coming up. If you can get there, you have got to get there. Super Saturdays, like my new coaches, I know they're working when they say, I just read about Super Saturday. Like, where is a local one? He's in the back. Like, seriously, if you saw that, he is getting that piano. Oh, you see that? Now he's eating his, do you see him doing that? He's eating his bed. Okay, I'm sorry. Getting on. The big thing for me, why this is a big part of my story, it's not just, oh, go there, this is motivational. Like I met my success partner who is now a speaker at Summit. Her name's Missy Reber. We are so much alike. We bounce ideas off each other. The main thing is that we're so great with business, but every day at the end of the day, we text each other and say, hey, how are you? How was your day? It's nice to know that you have one of those people. So you should go to live events, not only thinking, I'm going to learn something new, this is awesome, but you're going to connect with people and be willing to connect with people. Plus, here's the difference. If I go to the store and I buy Taylor Swift CD, it's not nearly as effective or awesome if I go to her concert because I get the spirit and I'm like, ooh, 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 and I'm excited. Okay, I don't necessarily, I've never been to Taylor Swift, but you know what I mean. I'm a Snoop Doggy Dogg girl. Okay, so like if I went to Snoop Doggy Dogg, I went to like a couple concerts in my life. Anyhow, it's like a way different feeling. You're like, whoa, this is crazy. The feeling, the electrifying feeling is awesome, okay? So not only get the speakers and you're building your business, you're committed. Like you need to know when the next Super Saturday is. You need to know when the next live event that you're attending. And if you want to take it to the next step, you need to try to attend a live event that is like something that motivates you, whether it's Danny Johnson or whether it's, I can't think of his name right now. Help me. I know his name. Anyhow, I'll write the name down. But I'm sure you've heard of him. But there's local places all over the place. Like, for example, I have a business, like on third Saturday of the month, there's people that run entrepreneurs that meet downtown Portland. Like, I can go there. I can meet that. Like, that's in your area. You need to research that kind of stuff and look because that helps you be better. Number 3. Okay, along with going to, you need to go into Summit and attending live events, you have to find local coaches to meet up and share ideas with. I don't even care if they're on your team. In fact, it's probably better if they're not on your team because then you can say, hey, how do you do your GSR process? Because we all know that there's 50,000 ways to do things in this business. And you're like, oh my gosh, that person's doing this and this person's doing this. And so when you sit down with them, I call these coffee meetings. I do these once a month. I reach out to other elite coaches. And before I was elite coach, I reached out to just local people. I said, hey, do you want to meet up? I would take my kid and we would go to a play structure and kids would play and we would meet and we would talk. It not only makes you feel like you're not alone and that everyone's experiencing what you're feeling, but you get excited and you get to work with each other. And then you can maybe run trainings together. You can do they can do a team call for you or that kind of stuff. So I like it. You give more, you gain more. Okay. If you're giving, I don't care. Your intention should not to be to get anything out of it other than offering a friendship and vibing with someone, meeting your tribe of people in this business, because that is a big thing. Some of my best friends are my business partners, and that's something that you need to understand. So reach out. Okay, number 4, know when you need help. You have got to know how to use FAQ, Google, team page. You should not be texting your upline every single minute and then messaging them and saying, I need to do this. Okay, be proactive. This is what I like to call be a lifelong learner, like learn something new each day. In fact, if you're going to make it to the next level, you're going to teach people on your team page. Hey guys, I just learned this today. Did you know that? That's pretty awesome when new coaches do that. You guys shout them out. So understand that there's lots of options. You have the FAQ, you have something called Google. Maybe try that. You've had team pages. You've had your team pages. I have my personally sponsored page. Okay, you can reach up to your star upline, but make sure that's not the very first person you talk to. You have your regional page on Beachbody. You should have a success partner. If you don't, you should try to find one. You have your local coaches. I mean, I can give you a plethora of information. If you're telling me you don't know how to find people, you better start working on trying to find people. Google it, YouTube it. I cannot handle it. And people say, well, I don't know how to invite someone. Do you know how many videos are on inviting on YouTube from the top 10 coaches? They obviously are doing something right. So if you don't think that you have the exact training that you need, you can find it, okay? So be direct in what you want when you do go to your upline. Meaning if you're struggling, don't talk behind their back. Go to them and say, I'm struggling with trying to find this information. Can you please give me X, Y, and Z? When a coach comes to me and says that, I do it. I can't always read the minds of every one of my coaches. I can tell when they're struggling, when they pull back, but I don't know what they're struggling with all the time. So just be direct and just ask, because you will never get what you don't ask for. And that's something that's very important. Okay, and then outsource when you can. I could do a whole call on this, but I don't care if you're making $100 a week, $500 a week, thousands of dollars a week. You have got to spend your time the most on building your business, which is connecting with people, talking to people, signing and recruiting coaches, and running challenge groups. That is your job. But making pretty images on Rona Designs and a beautiful mess and spending 5 hours on a picture because you are really pissed off that the circle isn't in the right spot is not going to build your business. I used to do that. That's what I'm saying. Okay, because I'm like, I can't do this app. So I hired out. I got someone that does my recognition images. She does all of my recognition. She does all of my downline. And you may think you may not be at that point in your business, but when I was first starting, I asked leaders on my team to do different things to take a leadership role, to take the pressure off me. So we do something called Saturday shout outs or Friday roll calls, which is like celebrating coaches on our team for different things, okay? I had a coach start that. I do a book club review. We try to do books together as a team. I have someone posting about the book club review. I just reached out to my leaders and said, I want you to share examples of posts 2 times a week so that we can recognize, do you get what I mean? You can always ask for help. A team is a whole team environment, okay? I'm serious. I used to have someone come over and do my laundry. She moved and I'm mad about it, but she did my laundry because I'm not getting paid to fold the clothes and fold my laundry. I can actually be okay with like overlooking it, but she came over, did my laundry and obviously cleaning. Like if you can afford, like, actually that's not a good sense to say because I did it before I could afford it. I did it so I could afford it in the future and make money while they were doing it. Does that make sense? So you're going to put in some money, some time. I say about an average of 10% of what you make should be put back into outsourcing. Sometimes 20%, but don't forget to ask for help and don't forget to outsource in areas that you are not great at. Because for me personally, I am not great with graphics, with computers in the sense. That's why, like I told Mark, I'm like, how do you use Google Hangout? I don't know how to do that. Like, he's like, click a button, Kiana. I'm like, okay. Sorry, anyhow. Okay, so number 5, I know you've heard this, and then we're gonna get into the nitty and the gritty. Like, you have got to make Success Club non-negotiable. I know you're saying, but Kiana, stop. I've made it 53 months in a row. It is not by chance, okay? Sometimes you don't know how the hell you're gonna get there. Sometimes you don't even know if you have anyone to talk to, but I don't care. As long as you believe it's going to happen and you take the action to talk to people, and it's all a numbers game, okay? You have got to make, if you are, for example, there's only 4 aces in a deck. If I only talk to 4 people of these aces, then maybe those are, you know, once the aces are gone, okay, they might join me in February and they might join me in February and March and April. But once those aces are gone, I can't just keep talking to the same people. Like, I have to find more aces. I have to talk to more people. So literally the biggest thing that people have a mistake is that they think that, oh, when I get bigger or when I have attraction marketing, all these people will fall into my lap. Do you know I'm a 6-star diamond and 2 months ago I had to talk to 75 people? Because I want it that bad. And you have to want it that bad and make it non-negotiable that even when you're, sorry, Mark, breastfeeding in the middle of the night and your kid is crying and only sleeping for 3 hours a night, you get your butt out of bed at 5 o'clock because you see the vision, and the vision is bigger than where you are. Like, I just bought a house, you guys, a house, my dream home. And it never would have happened ever in my entire life without Beachbody. It is literally the house that I walk into and I get flutters. And I was just talking to a coach today that, like, a year into the business, this wasn't on my speech, but a year into the business, I just checked. I was making between $500 and $700 a month, okay? I have not only quadrupled that, But 4 years into the business, like in my second year, I didn't raise my income hardly at all. So if I would have quit my second year, there would be no possibility to where I'm at right now. So sometimes you don't know how you're going to get there. And I didn't know how I was going to get to 5-star or help more people. But I just put my head down and did so much personal development that I believed that I could no matter what. Okay. So some tips to make Success Club is, and these are just really basic, and I have videos about these, but I'm just going to put it out there, is schedule out strategic groups. So I do free groups. I do not run clean eating groups, contrary to what people believe. I believe that your free group should be something that you're passionate about, so that you can just post all the time and be super passionate about. I'm passionate about fitness. I know that sounds weird because, yeah, we're all passionate about fitness, Kiana. No, but I really am. Like circuits, like I make circuits. I do like arm circuits, butt circuits, like leg circuits. I'm a track coach. So that's my really MO. I get like 50 to 100 people every month, every other month in my free groups, and I build relationships. And that's 90% of where my challengers come from. Okay. I have a Google document, Mark, if you want to remind me, that teaches my team exactly how to run a free group and take it into paid challengers. Just remind me if you want that. Okay. So I always do free groups before sneak peeks, because then I can post to my free group and say, hey, if you're ever interested in what I'm doing after I've built relationships with these people, this is what I'm doing, sneak peeks. Okay, I do ads on my like page, and I post with intention. I do exactly what Christina Delgado says, and she just said it so clearly. I never said it like that before, but before you click send or push send, you say and. Like, what is the point of this? If I'm holding a picture of my Energize and I'm like, is that going to do anything? No, probably not. I have to talk about what is Energize doing for me. Well, I'm a tired mom and I only slept 2 hours last night and I want to work out, so I'm going to take my Energize, okay, or whatever. And then PM and follow up, hundreds of these are going to help you get Success Club. It does not take 5 messages. It takes hundreds of messages to make Success Club over and over and over. So if you're not willing to do that, then you're making an excuse for you're never going to reach to where you want to go. Okay. Get excited, help 3 to 5 people each month, and tell yourself you can do it. That's it. Like, don't tell me you can't help 3 people a month. You can, because I've done it and you can do it too. All right. Oh, and we all know this. If they say yes for Success Club, you obviously get them into a group, but what do you do with the no's? Okay, I know no's not right now, you hear that, but like I always say to someone this, and I think this is a major game changer, is, okay, girl, thanks so much for following me. Can you make sure that you still comment and like my post, because I really need the support. I really need my tribe of people. And they like that. They're like, yes. And also, I'm a smart businesswoman, so that bumps me up on the news feeds, right? That makes my stuff keep showing in their news feeds. I like the support. And I always ask them, I know right now is not a great month, but when would be a better month for me to follow back with you? And they're like, yeah, you're right, this month's not, but can I follow back with you in June? Or would April be a good month? Or would May be a good month? I can literally have lists of people that I can follow back a year ago or 2 years ago that I had a conversation with, that joined me or joined my challenge group in February, because I'm a list person. I don't do computers, I do lists in a binder, okay? Just always ask, make sure you always ask. All right, number 7, I think I kind of said this terminology, but be a lifelong learner, which means, did you make Emerald? Okay, what's next? How can you become a better coach today? How can you be a better wife? How can you be a better mom? How can you serve others? Like, you need to choose. I always tell my team, you have got to choose to grow daily unless you're slowing down. So grow or slow, that is your choice. You be a responsible business owner. Okay, sometimes we have to be teachers. We have to teach our team what to do. But a lot of times we have to be responsible and be a student and learn. So you are a teacher and a student if you are a successful business owner. And you got to do that. Make sure that you're doing that every single day. I don't know everything. In fact, I don't claim to know everything. If a coach asked me, one of my newest coaches was like, she's like, I think I made Success Starters. And I was like, oh girl, that's so amazing that she wanted to go to Summit. And I was like, that's so great, but I don't think you qualified for Summit of this year. And she says, no, yes, I did. I just looked. I just qualified. It was like she made it in January 17th or something. And the cutoff was January 31st. And I thought it was January 1st. She told me. She was like, no, I made it. See, it says right this in the FAQ. That's when you know people are working on themselves and learning. That is awesome that she knew that. I didn't know that. And sometimes I don't know everything. I'm sorry. I'm not an encyclopedia. And if you think I know everything, it's not the truth. But what I choose to do is choose to grow every single day and learn something new. Yes, I know I learn I know a lot more about volume now, 4 years into the business. But when I was first starting, I didn't know. I had no idea. In fact, I signed up people according to how it looked pretty. Like I was like, oh, this goes right here, this is right here, and this it was not any idea of what I was doing. I'll tell you that right now. And that's a whole nother story. Okay, so number 8, volunteer to lead calls. If you want to grow, you got to get uncomfortable. Volunteer to be guest speakers, volunteer to talk at your Super Saturday. In fact, if you're brave after this call, you're going to contact the person in your Super Saturday and you're going to say this. I was just on a training call today and I'm learning to be brave. And I'm going to be brave today. And I'm asking you if I can share my story on stage. Can I do that? Oh my goodness. You're going to get goosebumps. You're going to walk away. You're going to get scared, but then you're going to grow when you get up on that stage and you share your story. And the more you share your story, the more people are going to listen and the more you're going to get excited and passionate about it. So you've got to ask people, ask to lead a team call, talk at a Super Saturday, do a training. The answer on these particular things is always yes. And I don't care if you're overwhelmed. You just say yes because you need to be uncomfortable and scared. There are things that you need to say no in your life too. Like, that's a whole nother thing of time management, like going out to coffees and doing all this stuff and never working your business and yes, you got to say no to that stuff to be a responsible business owner. But in these situations, you never say no. So when Mark asked me, hey, do you want to do a team call? I said yes. And it wasn't the most convenient for me at 9 in the morning. My daughter's in the movie, but that's okay. But I said yes because I want to grow as a speaker. My goal in life, my passion is to be on stage, is to teach people. I'm a teacher at my heart. So I am very passionate about doing team calls, about doing trainings, even more so than rank. So to me, this is my practice. It helps me. And I get better. I still stink sometimes. I still stutter and I'm like, oh, I should have said this, but I get better each time. I get a little nervous and then I get excited. Okay. Number 9, always be working on your journey so you have something to post about. How simple is that? Always be working on you. Be consistent. If my coaches say I don't have anything to post about, it's because they're like, it amazes me how many people think that they can try to inspire other people when they quit after day 17. I was just talking to a new coach, and a lot of times part of working on your journey is pushing play when you're unmotivated. You're not a coach and all of a sudden being motivated. It's so irritating me. I don't wake up every day and have this pep in my step and have coffee oh yes, I'm going to help 75 people today. This is going to be amazing. No, I don't. But I put my head down and get to work. And I know that in the past, what has helped me is getting out a book, is pushing play, because the endorphins, natural drugs, are going to help you be a happier and healthier person. So why wouldn't I do that? So when a coach said to me, I'm not going to lie to you, I was really unmotivated yesterday. And what is that? Push play. It doesn't matter. I don't get that. So always be working on your journey and then talk about it. Be real, be consistent. If you didn't feel like working out, great, post about it and then tell people that you did. If you don't be a gray sky in people's news feeds. I can't handle it. They're like, I didn't want to work out and I didn't, and that sucks. And then life is terrible. And it's like, no one's going to follow you, people. Okay. So I looked at some of these, I have to be honest. Sometimes I look at coaches' pages and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never follow them. That's scary. That's scary. So be a rainbow. You have to stand out, and how you stand out is be you. That's the only thing you need to do is be you, be consistent. You never run out of post ideas. If you're trying new recipes, if you're doing personal development, if you're working on yourself, you never run ideas because you include Beachbody into your life. It's just a day-to-day thing. All right. So if you are thinking I ran out of post ideas, I don't know what to do. Number 1, go back to number 1 and start following some coaches and get some ideas. Okay. Make a list. Always have a list so you never run out of ideas. And then number 2, go, oh, maybe I need to do a little more personal development because I'm worried about what people are thinking, because if I can't post anything, that's what I'm doing. And then get to work. Okay. So number 10 is, hold on. Oh, I did that for another group. That was oh, I missed one. There we go. Yes, number 10, turn conversations into invites. I cannot tell you the amount of people that are like, but Kiana, I talked to 50 people. And I'm like, send me a couple of these conversations. Okay, it's easy to ask someone about themselves. That's what we do. How do you have kids? Forming them, do you have friends? It's the hardest part is sending the message. like actually inviting them. So if you're talking to 75 people and then you have no invite, like shame on you. Like you have got to look at your last 50 conversations. How many of those conversations are you turning into invites? Whether it's a free group, whether it's a sneak peek, whether it's a challenge group, you have got to turn them into invites. And if you do that, you will start to get more people on your team and attract more people, because that's what this is attraction marketing. So I think that I do have a number 11 tip, but I meant to say 10, but whatever, I can do this. This is tips for busy people. Tips for busy people. Okay. And I do a whole nother, I do a call about this, but I'm just going to give you like really quick 5 tips for busy people, because I am a mom, I'm busy, and my biggest change in the last year is being intentional with my time, choosing to focus my time when I'm on Beachbody with Beachbody, and then keeping my priorities in line, because I feel like there's no reason I could be a 15-star diamond coach and neglect my family. That's not going to happen for me. I don't want that to happen. And I tell my team all the time, I'd rather be an elite mom, an elite wife, than an elite coach. Okay. Granted, I would love to be an elite coach 3 years in a row, and I'm going to do what I can to get there, but I'm not going to sacrifice my priorities. So I have got to get to work, and I have to figure out what my time is going to happen. So number 1, use voice messages. You have got to use voice messages. Like on Facebook Messenger, I do almost 90% of my invites on Facebook messages. First 30 seconds, I introduce myself. I tell them who I am. I tell them I'm voice messaging invites from my like page or whatever, or a free group or something like that. I basically say who my kids are, how old my kids are, and then I ask questions about them. Are you know, like, how are you? Like, I see that we might have kids the same. Like, I saw we met in this group, or your profile, you know, has this in it, or whatever. And I just ask questions, and they like go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that that's so cool. I didn't even know you could talk. And they like mess up, and then we have this funny conversation, and then we like open the door to a relationship. Cool, right? Okay, so I message all new likes. I message most of my new invites. I message all my coaches for check-ins. So I could do this when I'm like at my daughter's piano practice. I can do it when I'm at T-ball practice, not T-ball games. I will not be on my phone at T-ball games. Let's make that clear. But they hear the passion in your voice, and then they're like, oh, she's a real person. And so you're gonna mess up sometimes. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I did that. But you're going to get better, and it's going to be funny, and then you're just going to laugh, and then you're just going to make fun of yourself, and then it's going to be awesome. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, use Facebook Live. You have got to put your personality out there. You've got to offer value on something that I don't care what it is. I did a whole challenge with my team. I had them do Facebook Live every day for 5 days. They were freaking out, but guess what? You put your face on it. You find out who your tribe is. You don't have to create a post. You don't have to spend time writing it all out and making it perfect. You just put your face on it and you just do it. If you have not used Facebook Live, why? Why are you not using Facebook Live? You can do it in your challenge groups. Start with that. That's private every single day. You can do it in your team group and just practice in your team page and be like, hey, it's me, or whatever. Ask Mark ask your leaders like what you could do a Facebook Live video about, and say, I need to do this. I need to get better. What can I do it? Just practice with each other. Okay. Number 3, I post exactly what's happening in my life. I don't make things up. So I post the good, the bad, and the ugly. That makes it easier. That saves my time. But the ugly and the bad always have a spin to the positive. Okay. I always say, and what am I trying to offer here? And how am I going to talk about the business in this way? How am I going to offer a solution? So my posts are always, I try to have engaging questions. And I know that may not seem important when it comes to time, but it is, because if you're just being yourself, you don't have to pretend to be anyone else. Then you have to think of all these crazy posts. You just be yourself, and then include Beachbody into it. All right. Number 4, it's going to save you time if you start posting about any objections and setbacks and stuff that you have heard in private conversations on your regular wall, and just be like, you know, I just had someone talk to me about Shakeology, and they were saying that stuff is crap. Well, here's why it's not crap, because here's what's in it. This is why I do it. Like, I literally post things about that. Or I'll say, I just had a challenger ask me a question, or I just had a coach wondering, like, telling me she didn't have time to do this business. For your information, I built this business on 1 to 2 hours a day in the cracks of my day while I was pregnant, while I was breastfeeding. So, you know what I mean? Like, I just put it out there. So then I don't have to answer 50,000 questions, because everyone knows how I build my business, and that helps. So I try to do that 2 to 3 times a week. And I try to that's very simple. You can just add it with a sentence by just being intentional with your posts, add it with a sentence. But basically how you coped or how you dealt with the response and objection. Because listen, we are all going to, Tommy Migrant did a call, like one of my very first calls that I ever remember listening to, because I wasn't doing personal development, because it was too good for, I was too good for that. But one of the, Tommy Migrant like blew my mind one time. He was one of the very first National League calls I listened to, and he said, you have to lead with your fear and you have to talk about it. When I was a week into the coaching opportunity, someone said, well, what has coaching done for you? And he's like, I didn't know what coaching, I've been a week into this, but I said to him, I don't know what it's done for me yet, but I'm excited about what it's going to do. And he just said, lead with your fear. I was scared that it wasn't going to do anything for me, but here's what it's done. Or lead with your fear about, like, I was kind of hesitant about the price too. Like I thought I had to, like, wow, that's like a gold in a bottle, but here's why it's worth it. You know what I mean? So you lead with your fear, and that has really been a game changer for me. Lead with my fear, address it right in the very beginning, and be confident. Because confident, I just was telling a new coach, confidence sells faster than anything else. If you're a new coach and confident about offering a product, that's going to sell. Okay, and then the last one is work off lists. Okay, you've got to work off lists. I am a list master. So I have, like, for example, I have all of my challengers that joined in February. You're like, why is that important? Well, that's because I can go to this person and be like, oh, she did the 21-day fix. She has cafe latte. I'm going to ask her how she's liking her cafe latte. Does that make sense? Instead of going to the back office and going, oh God, I literally spent hundreds of hours trying to figure out what damn Shakeology flavor these people were on because I forgot to ask, or what challenge pack they were doing. And I sent them the wrong video. I'm like, or I'd be like, hey, how's Insanity Max 30? She's like, I'm not doing Insanity Max 30. I'm like, dang, I'm a terrible coach. I need to write this stuff down. Okay, so I started writing that stuff down. I also write all my people in my free groups down so I can constantly have conversations with them. I have a 10 in playlist, 10 people that I'm trying to get off the list, either a yes or a no, constantly adding to that. And then I have, this is one of my newest ones, you guys, game changer. And then I'll let you go because I've literally talked your ear off. So this, I'm always trying to help my team be intentional with their time and their time management, because that's where most people struggle with, whether you're working or not. So I wrote down all of the things I felt like I needed to do as a Beachbody coach, whether that's working out, posting in my challenge group, messaging every new like, reading through all the comments and doing yada yada. I outsourced what I felt that I could, like that didn't need to be me. Then I broke down what I needed to do in daily, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. For example, of course we need to work out and post. This is daily, what I do on my list, okay? Workout, post, message, read, like send any new coaches, send them an email, that kind of stuff. But like for Monday, every Monday I check in with all of my challengers and I say, hey girl, how are you? Just checking in. How was your weekend? I send them a voicemail. Every single challenger, every week. I say the same dang thing every single week, but I know how they're doing. I check sponsorship drill down for my inactive coaches. I reach out to them, any new inactive coaches, okay? I post my team call, video reminder, because on Mondays I have a team call. Do you get my point? So I was like so overwhelmed because I was like, oh my God, I have to do all this stuff. I have to do all this stuff. And when I broke it down into days, it was much more manageable. And I felt like I was doing a better job as a coach. So I would suggest writing down everything you think that you need. And so when I wake up, when I plan my schedule on Sundays, which is my nifty planner pad calendar, if you're not planning a week, you should, I take this list and I fill it in. And then I know what I'm doing for Beachbody, for me and my personally sponsored coaches, and Beachbody as a team. I know what I want to do for me as my personal life, just not Beachbody, just living my life to be a balanced person. And I know what I'm doing for my home and family. Does that make sense? And then I have this list. So I feel like that has really been a game changer in my life. I hope these tips have helped. I know I gave you a lot of information. Remember, the key is to take 3 or 4 of them, or 2 or 3 or whatever, and apply them this week. See how they can help you move forward in your business, because it really is about not sitting there and watching, but actually sitting there and doing. And once you do that, you'll start to see big changes. Coupled with all of those things, you have got to make sure that you are doing your personal development. And I know I sound like this crazy, like my team rolls their eyes at me. They're like, yeah, Kiana, I understand. But it's the only thing that changed me, like mentally, emotionally, allowed me to have a foundation of belief and confidence, and it allowed me to push myself forward. And I truly believe it's the only thing that I changed. It is the only thing that I changed in that 1 year where I went from diamond to 5-star. I said, oh, well, you know, successful coaches are saying I should do personal development, so maybe I should. And I started doing it. And when the question is Kiana, but how much do you do? Sometimes 3 hours, and I don't sit down. I listen to podcasts, and I'm doing it when I'm doing the dishes or the laundry or driving the car or doing my dinner. And I did it until I started to believe in myself. And that's the difference, is that I didn't just do it for 10 minutes. I didn't just do it for 20 minutes or 10 pages. I did it until I started to believe in myself, because my problem was not the belief that these coaches had other things that I didn't have. Does that make sense? And so once personal development allowed me to start believing in myself and understanding that I was no different than anyone else. I was the one holding myself back, is when I started to see success. Okay, I'm done.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Look at that, man. We had the top 10 tips, and we got a bonus 5 tips.
I'm sorry. I wasn't going to do that, but then I was like, gosh.
No, that was great. Great stuff. So a couple things. Number one, team. When Kiana talks about 5 people you should follow, she should probably be one of them, 5 to 10 people. We strategically, we don't just reach out to anybody and everybody in the network to be guest speakers on the call. We have specific reasons why we have certain people on. People that we know are, successful, that are building with integrity, that, are going to show you how to do it the right way. And Kiana's definitely one of those people. So, and on that, just when you go to her profile, click the follow button. She doesn't need to have a million friend requests. She's probably
I have so many. I'm just kidding.
Just click follow. And number 2 to that, if you're going to Summit, Kiana will be at our grand team get together that we're having on Saturday, whenever that is. We'll get you all the details of that. But if you're going to Summit, be sure to go up and introduce yourself to her and thank her for this amazing call. And a couple of quick questions that we wrap all of our team calls up with you. These are just kind of like quick rapid fire questions for you, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So what would you say has been kind of like the best piece of advice that somebody has given you for your business?
Oh man, gosh, the best piece of advice. I think, honestly, I think it's, a little bit of what I talked about, but it's stop getting in my own way. I'm my worst critic. I'm the hardest on myself. And I really was someone that I look back and go, oh my gosh, I was worse than I thought. Like, I compared a lot. Yeah, you can in just a second. I was worse than I thought. I was more anxious than I thought. I always walked on eggshells of how I talk to people. And I feel like it's given me the best advice is to work on myself first, so then I can serve other people. And I think that when I do that, that's what this business is about.
Awesome. I know you mentioned that you're huge into personal development. What would you say is your favorite success or motivation quote?
A motivation quote? Oh my Lord, that caught me off guard.
That's what we like to do.
I know. Now you got me off guard. My quote? I thought I was all ready to fire off some books and some podcasts. This is from the Bible too, but it's more of, to those who give shall receive. Like, I really believe that you should give without expecting anything in return. Like I talk about, like, offer help when you can. Like, don't go into a conversation thinking that I'm going to get 2 points out of this. Go into the conversation thinking, that is so freaking cool. This person reached out to me, or I reached out to this person and I'm getting to know this person better. And she's really struggling, and you've been there before, and you have empathy for them, and you're not expecting for them to do anything other than you just be a support system to them. So I really believe that
Awesome.
Giving, you get what, you get more when you give more. And that's just something that I've always been believed in my business and how I ran my business.
Awesome. And what would you say is your favorite personal development book?
My favorite
audio or podcast?
Non-negotiable. I listen to School of Greatness every single day. Podcast. Do you know what that is? That's Lewis Howes. Oh my gosh, mind blowing. He's a ex-pro football player that turned into entrepreneur. It's the fastest growing podcast. I used to listen to it. I've listened to it for like 2 years. All my team listens to it. I bought for one example, like all my personally sponsored coaches that made Success Club 1 month, I bought them all the book, School of Greatness. He's awesome. He is incredible. He has a wide range of ideas, and it's just really good.
Awesome.
But for books, You Are a Badass is one of my favorites. Obviously the typical like Slight Edge, but the Brene Brown, anything by her is really good. Like The Power of Vulnerability. Okay, that is loud. Seriously. She's listening to this too. And the most recent, the most recent I'm reading is the 10 times rule. Have you guys read that? Oh my gosh. That is a game changer.
10X rule?
The 10 times X, it's like the 10 times rule or 10 times X
that
rule.
one?
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah.
This is the 10X planner, actually.
But did you read the book?
Yeah, we have the book and the audio.
So I'm doing a team call. I'm doing a team Success Academy starting on Monday with that book.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we are big fans of Grant Cardone.
It's kind of intense.
Yeah.
Because it's so as you know, like I'm passionate and I'm like telling you how it is, but I'm also, there's a side of me that's very emotional and I get my feelings hurt easily and I'm not like tough love with people and I need to be sometimes. So it's really helping me in my business too.
Yeah, it's a great book. Last question. Knowing everything that you know now, where you're at, 4+ years into your business, if you were to go back to day one, what would be that one thing that you would focus on to start growing your business, like the activity that you would do to grow your business?
Man, being intentional with my posts, like every time that I post, spinning some type of I think that I do a way better job now. Like I look at some of my posts and I'm like, oh my gosh, like these are so bad. Like when the time hop comes up, I'm like 4 years ago, I'm like, these are so bad. I share them with my team. I'm like, look at this, guys. Because I feel like if you're intentional with your posts, if you're looking, like your Facebook is a business, should not be like a personal place where they're inviting them into your personal life, but that you're intentional with your posts so that you are trying to get some type of message across. And I feel like when my coaches do that from the very beginning, they exude confidence. Does that make sense? And that coupled with personal development, obviously I've told you I didn't do personal development for my first 2 years. I mean, that is just like, it like makes me sick. Like maybe if I would have done it every day, it would have been better, but I always made excuses. So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I loved how in the beginning, how you said, to ask yourself when you're going to make a post and like, what's the point of this post right now?
Yeah.
Am I just posting just to get something up there, or am I trying to get some message across?
Right.
I think that's huge. So awesome. No, I appreciate you taking time out of your morning. I know it was not the normal schedule for you, right at your workout time. I think you're still on Energize.
I am. Just kidding. No, if this is how I talk normally, so like this is why I've never anyhow, long story, but I always joke around with people. I'm like, yeah, I've never done drugs because I'd be crazy. Like I'm just like always like excited and passionate. I could take it a level down, but when I'm talking about something I'm passionate about, I definitely get kind of intense and I use my hands because I'm teaching. I'll like watch a video and be like, oh, I can't watch that video. I'm like, like, oh my gosh, it's bad. Yeah.
That's how Jess is too. It's funny. No, we love it. Love your energy.
And why I'm drinking Energize after my workout, I don't know.
Got to keep you going. You're a busy mom.
Yes.
No, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to share with us. Really appreciate it. And guys, again, the recording will be up on the team YouTube channel. Make sure you go there. Make sure you point your teammates there if they're going to watch the recording. Tons of tips. I'm pretty sure. I know I didn't get all the things written down, so I'm going to have to go back and rewatch and get some of those tips. Great stuff, Kiana. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple months.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the call, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.